DreAllDay.com.
You're now tuned into the show where you learn the discipline to show up day after day to do the work, the confidence to put yourself out there boldly and authentically, and the mental toughness to continue showing up, doing the work, putting yourself out there, even when the success you expected to achieve is yet to be achieved. And on top of all this, you get a huge dose of personal initiative. What is that? That's the go-getter energy that moves anyone out there, especially you, to go and make things happen instead of waiting for things to happen. And we put all this together for you in one bundle, one package, one mindset, one method, one philosophy, one book, one show. This masterclass, this daily masterclass. You didn't know the show was every day? Yes, you had missed the last 1,600 days in a row. I'm gonna tell you how you can get in there though. This is called Work on Your Game. My name is Dre Baldwin, also known as Dre All Day. Welcome to the show. Congratulate yourself on making an excellent decision on being here, because today's topic is not everybody is trying to get better. All right, this working on your game, getting better, improving, self-growth, personal enhancement. All right, this is not for everybody. I want you all to understand that not everybody is trying to get better. And I want you to understand this on a level that is deeper than, this is not just some rah-rah motivational bullshit that I'm telling you here today. The reason why you need to understand that not everyone is trying to get better is because if you are doing something or offering something that is going to make people better, you need to understand that the whole world is not your market. Everybody in the world is not trying to get better. Since you know everybody in the world is not trying to get better, or since you will know by the end of this masterclass, you will also understand that you don't need to be offering your goods and services to everyone on the planet, because everyone on the planet is not in your market. Not everyone on the planet is looking for what you got. All right, they ain't buying what you're selling. Even though you may be able to identify ways and reasons that everyone needs it, doesn't mean everyone wants it. All right, can we agree that there are plenty of things out there that a whole lot of people need, but they don't want it? Can we agree? All right, have you ever known someone who needs to go to the gym, but they don't go? You ever known someone who needs to read some books, but they don't read? Do you know anyone who needs to be listening to this show, but they don't listen? All right, so since you do know those things, we can agree that there are a lot of people who need to get better. I think everybody needs to get better at something, since human beings are imperfect and none of us is a completely finished product until we die. Everybody needs to get better, but does everybody actually want to? No. And is everybody even trying to? No. And there's some people who will outright tell you, I ain't trying to get better. Many people won't tell you that, but they will show you through their actions and inactions that they ain't trying to get better. And what you need to realize is that you need to stop trying. All right, you need to focus on the people who want to. I thought about this when I was taking a look at I wasn't looking at a speaking, I was actually at a speaking gig that I did some time ago. I'm not gonna give any identifying information, but I was one of the keynote speakers at a certain event, and keynote speakers are like the headline people. They give like the big presentation in front of the entire conference, either at the beginning of the day or end of the day, or maybe at some points throughout the day. And at this particular event, there were only a handful of keynote speakers. Like, you count them on one hand. And I spoke, I think I was the first speaker of the entire conference, and then someone else opened up one of the other days of the event. And I actually saw this other person speak, and this person was trash. And I remember listening to this person's presentation. I was sitting I knew within the first 5 minutes of this presentation, like, this person's garbage. How did they possibly choose of all the speakers in the world? This is what I was wondering, all right? When the people who organized the event, who I knew them, I had a direct conversations with them and all this, people who organized that event reached out to me and asked me to give a presentation there. And I said, all right, they had to have reached out and asked this woman, who was the other speaker, to give a presentation as well. Now, if they could have found me, couldn't they have found somebody else who was better than her? This is the part that I couldn't get. I'm like, there's no way that between their organizing committee, the people who put this event together, it was a good 4 or 5 people who put the event together. Like, it ain't no fucking way that this woman was the best person that they could find besides Dre to give a presentation at this conference. There's no way she was the next best person they could come up with to headline this event. Like, why? How? I had so many questions. I just couldn't figure out why they would hire this person, because she was just not good. Now, this is what I realized. The more that I thought about it, I finally realized something. They didn't want somebody who was better. They didn't want the best possible presenters that they could get. Now, I think I gave the best presentation at that whole event. I mean, maybe that's a little bit of ego talking. There actually is some ego talking, but I think, as I think if we took a subjective vote, I think I would have ended up winning. That I gave the best presentation at that event. And I have other reasons to believe that I won't go into because then I'll be giving too much identifying information. But here's the thing that I realized. They didn't want somebody better. And sometimes in your life, you are going to know, in your bones, you will know that you are the best possible option for someone or for some group of people, an individual person or organization. And they are going to choose, instead of you, they're going to choose someone who is lesser than you, not as good as you, doesn't have the resume you have, will not deliver on the level that you deliver, and you're going to be sitting there looking like, why the hell is so clear? It's going to be so clear to you and to others that you are so much better than the option that they ended up choosing, and you can't understand why they would choose a lesser option. What I'm going to help you understand here today is that there is a reason why people choose lesser options when they could easily do better. Any of you ever seen a really attractive woman with a guy who did not match, with a guy who wasn't very attractive? Or you ever seen an attractive guy with a girl who just wasn't that pretty? And you're like, wait a minute, this guy could probably get like any one of these other girls out here. Why is he with her? Or that girl, she could have any one of these guys out here. Why is she with him? Any of you ever had that experience? Now, I've heard from some of you who have actually asked me these very questions. There's this woman that I know. I don't know if she's listening or not. But she is a white woman from middle America. So if that happens to be you, I might still be talking about you. If you're not from middle America, I'm not talking about you. But she knows who she is. She reached out to me once because she knows me. We met in person. And she said, Dre, why do these black guys be out here dating these white girls who are not pretty? and she went on her little rant about what she saw in her town and this and that. Now, I didn't see the people that she was talking about, and I understood why she was asking me because I'm black, and she was comfortable enough to ask me that question that she knew I wasn't going to take it personal, I wasn't going to take it as like a personal attack that she was talking about black guys. But I did. I laughed and explained to her calmly that, first of all, her experience of whatever she saw was such a small percentage of what was actually going on in the world that she shouldn't make such a blanket statement. And I also explained to her I didn't see the people that she was talking about, so I couldn't really give her a better answer than what she gave. But I can understand what she was saying, and that's not even what today's topic is. But the whole point is this: not everybody in life is going for the best that they can possibly get. Not everybody in life wants to do as good as they possibly can. Some people want to get to a certain point and they're good right there. They can see that it's possible to climb a little bit higher on the ladder. They just don't want to do it. Today, I'm going to help you understand that that is the way that some people think. That is the way that some people live. And shit, somebody who's listening to this right now, I might be talking about you. And I want you to understand, in addition to the fact that this is the way that some people think and live consciously or unconsciously, also, you need to understand that when you identify that a person is this type of individual who can easily climb some more rungs on the ladder, but they choose not to, it is your job to stop trying to force them up the fucking ladder because they don't want to climb it. All right, go talk to somebody who wants to climb the ladder. You will have a whole lot more success. Point number one. Today's topic is not everyone is trying to get better. Getting better is a responsibility, ladies and gentlemen. Improvement is a responsibility. All right, work on your game is a directive. All right, work on your game is not a declarative statement. Work on your game is not a question. Work on your game is a directive. It is me telling you to do something. Work on your game. I'm telling you the verb, I'm telling you the possessive, which is your, and I'm telling you the thing, and I'm telling you the subject. Game. Work on your game. That is a complete grammatically correct sentence. One of my favorite books, not Work on Your Game, but a different book. The author says in a book, working with the best, if you work with someone who is the best in their field or the best in the field that you're in, and you find the best person you can possibly find, working with them is not going to be easy. Why? Because they will challenge you and they will push you and they will not accept anything less than your best from you. I talked about this in masterclass number 1030, why you need to be challenged, questioned, and pushed. Working with people who will challenge, question, and push you is not going to be easy because they will not allow you to be anything less than your best. Most people want to be something less than their best. That's why most people know who the best is, yet they don't go and get the best to work with. They go find somebody kind of in the middle. They go find somebody mediocre, even though they know there is somebody better out there because they don't want to have to deal with the responsibility of living up to that level of performance and delivery and consistency. What I just told you right there is the crux of why people are who the hell they are. So I would suggest that you rewind, hit the rewind. If you got the 30-second rewind there, hit the rewind 2 times, 3 times, and listen to everything that I just said again. And listen to it again and again and again until you damn near memorize it. Getting better is a responsibility. It is not a privilege. It is not a fun ride. It is not a walk in the park. It is not easy. And this is why most people don't do it. Not because they don't know that they can get better. All right, everybody knows that they can get better. All right, everybody knows that there's another level to go to. All right, any girl walking around with an ugly guy knows that that guy's ugly, and she knows that there are guys out there who look better than him and also have other qualities that are better than him besides just looks, because we know it's more than looks, right? That she knows. All right, she knows. All right, you ain't got to tell her. She knows who she's with. All right, she sees him every day. Okay. They don't want to. Not everybody wants to go to another level, because with a higher level comes a higher responsibility. One really good book that I read related to sports and mindset is a book called Relentless by Tim Grover, which I'm sure many of you know about. Now, Tim Grover was Michael Jordan's trainer. And one of the things that I said about that book is Tim Grover basically took Michael Jordan's mindset and wrote a book about it. All right, Michael Jordan wouldn't write the book, Tim Grover wrote the book. So shout out to Tim Grover for writing that book. It was a great business move. And one of the things that Tim Grover talks about in that book about himself as a personal trainer, he says that he believes, or that he knew, that as a trainer, he pushed players harder than any other trainer did. He said, if anybody comes to work with me at my company as a trainer, I'm going to work them harder than any other trainer will ever work them. One of the things that Tim talked about, and I read this about Tim years back, before Relentless even came out, but a player who had worked with him actually said this, that he went to Tim's, his office to meet with him, like a consultation. Like, I might hire Tim as a trainer, so I'm gonna go in there and meet with him, and we're just gonna talk and, maybe take some measurements. He's gonna find out about what I want. He's gonna tell me how it works, and then tomorrow we'll come in here and get to work. And the player said he went in there, and Tim says this. He says, people come into my office for a consultation thinking that we're just gonna take a couple measurements and have a little conversation and small talk, and then you leave, and then we schedule the day you come in and start working. He said, no, we put you to work right there that day. We put you through a workout that day on the spot and have you doing stuff. And he said, one of the things about me is, first of all, you have to make an investment when you work with me. I'm not coming to LA or New York or Miami or New Orleans or wherever the fuck you live to train you. No, you got to come to where I'm at, which was, at least as of the writing that he wrote the book, I'm in Chicago. You got to come to Chicago, and you got to stay here for the summer or however long you're working with me. And this is how we gonna work. I'll give you the information on where you can get yourself some lodging and stuff like that. I'm gonna tell you what to eat and what not to eat, but you gotta come here to work with me. And I'm gonna work you harder than anybody else works you, and I'm probably charging you more money than anybody else charges. I don't know if he said the part about the money, but I would assume, knowing what his reputation, who he's worked with in his client roster, he probably charges more than any other trainer. Now, he's working with NBA players and players who are about to be, they can all afford it. Why don't everybody hire him? I mean, he worked with Michael fucking Jordan and Kobe Bryant. Why would you not hire him? Why do all these other trainers have clients when the guy who worked with Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant is available? Why? Now, I'm not saying those other trainers aren't good, but why doesn't everybody just go to the guy who worked with the best? You know why? Everybody don't want to do that. Everybody does not want to make that investment. And understand investing, ladies and gentlemen, 5 forms of investment. That's masterclass number 609, in case you didn't know. Time, money, attention, energy, focus. Money is only 20% of that. The other 80%, other things. People don't want to put the time in. All right, time is more valuable than money. All right, you can make money in a minute and you can lose it in a minute, but time, when that minute is gone, is over. Energy, the work you got to put in, the attention you have to give to something, the focus you have to put into something. Not everybody wants to do that. All right, some athletes, in sports, we look at a sport like basketball specifically, or many other sports. Go on Instagram. All right, how many athletes out there do you see? How many athletes do I see? If I could just think right now, do I see that I think are more interested in the footage that they get from their workout sessions and their training sessions with their trainers than they are in the actual improvement that happens in the training session? How many trainers out there are more interested in posting videos to Instagram, videos and photos to Instagram and YouTube of their workouts to get the attention from them than they are actually helping their clients get better? Now, I don't know. I'm not actually in those sessions. I don't know what's going on in the brains of these people. I'm not claiming that I can read their minds, but it appears to me that there are a lot of athletes out there who would rather get the attention that comes from posting a clip or a photo of their workout than the actual improvement that comes from the workout. Now, one thing I will tell you also is that ain't too many videos or pictures out there of a Tim Grover training session. And I guarantee you, it's been proposed to him. I guarantee you it's been asked of him. I guarantee you he's answered, and I will assume that he probably said no. Ain't no filming in here. We're not making no Instagram clips. We're not doing none of that shit. Now, maybe he started doing it as of now, but I never seen too many of those. Not even Michael Jordan stuff, Kobe Bryant stuff. Like, I ain't seen too many workouts of Kobe Bryant. Interesting, right? But he has his reputation as a super hard worker. I ain't seen too many videos of him doing it, but we gotta believe it because we saw the results. All that being said, getting better, ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna say it one more time. It is a responsibility. Most people don't wanna make that commitment of being better, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because being mediocre is acceptable. Mediocrity is accepted in the world today. In one of my favorite books, I talked about this in my Instagram story in July of 2020. It's a book called It's Not How Good You Are, It's How Good You Want to Be. The book is written by a guy named Paul Arden, who was an advertising executive in England, who passed away in the early 2000s. But it's one of my favorite books of all time. I don't even keep physical books anymore, but that's one of the few physical books that I still keep ownership of. I own that book and I keep ownership of that book because it's such a good book. You can find it in any bookstore to this very day. Again, it's called It's Not How Good You Are, It's How Good You Want to Be. And one of the things that Paul Arden talks about in that book is that many people don't aim for becoming great because mediocrity is okay. Listen, check this out. You can be mediocre and have a job. You can have a career. You can make enough money to pay for your food, clothing, shelter, your housing, take care of your kids and your family, have yourself a nice car in the suburbs and a dog and a yard out front, all through being mediocre, and you're good. You can be mediocre and be okay and survive in this life, all right? People will not destroy you for being mediocre, all right? You can be mediocre and be fine. Mediocrity is widely accepted. That keynote speaking gig that I told you about at the top of this episode that led to me even thinking about this topic, the speaker who I said was trash, she wasn't trash, she was mediocre, all right? But to me, mediocre is trash because I know the level that I deliver at, and I'm looking at my presentation, I'm looking at hers, and I'm like, next to mine, that was trash. But what it was actually was mediocre, all right? She wasn't bad, she was just mediocre. And to me, mediocre is trash. Mediocrity is acceptable, ladies and gentlemen. Being okay is accepted. Okay is widely accepted in this world. When you're bringing people to a space that you want to serve your audience, let's say you're running a conference and you want to hire some presenters, all right? There are too many people in your audience. I'm not talking about the presenters. Too many people in your audience who don't want to have all the speakers be on too high of a level because each one of them is going to give them responsibility of getting better. All right, they need a couple of mediocre speakers in there that make you just feel okay for being there and clapping and laughing. They're not giving you any responsibility to do anything with what you heard. You understand? That's all part of the game here. All of this is part of the game. It is not necessary for you to push yourself to be great when mediocrity is so widely acceptable. That's the game that's going on right now. So when you see some mediocre shit that passes through, that gets approved, that people are co-signing and buying and talking about and saying, man, this is so great, even though you know it's mediocre and you can't wrap your mind around how this mediocre shit gets accepted, I'm telling you why. Most people want to be mediocre, unconsciously or consciously, because being great is a deep, strong responsibility. If you haven't heard me talk about these things, then I would suggest that you listen to Masterclass number 800, How to Know When You Are in the Presence of Greatness. Masterclass number 782, Greatness is a Decision. That is a direct sibling to this episode. Again, that's Masterclass number 782, Greatness is a Decision. Masterclass number 637, The Great Ones Always Know and Address Their Weaknesses. Number 350, The Key to Greatness is Frequency. There is one on greatness that I gotta make sure I give you here. I got so many masterclasses where I talked about greatness that I gotta filter through them to find the one I want to tell you. Masterclass number 1543, How to Focus on Your Greatness. Number 1393, Your Moral Obligation to Be Great. Number 1148, here's the one, Making the Leap from Good to Great. Make sure you're writing these down, everything that I'm telling you right here. Masterclass number 1103, this is the other one, The Greatness Equation. These are the masterclasses that I would suggest you refer yourself to ASAP. As of the end of this one, go listen to those on greatness, and download them, save them, take notes on them, have conversations with your friends about them, because you're going to come back to these same principles, these same points. You're going to keep coming back to these over and over and over again in your life. When you're bringing people to give them something of value, understand if it's too good, then you're putting too much responsibility on too many people. And when you get, the more people you have in a room, the higher chance is going to be a lot of mediocre motherfuckers in there. So you got to be careful who you have in your audience, or just be aware of the fact that when you're giving people too much, that gives them too much responsibility, you are narrowing your audience. The higher the greatness level of what you're delivering, the smaller the audience is going to be, because not everybody's trying to hear that shit, because they know what they're going to have to do with it. It is too much work that needs to be done on the back end when someone is given a mandate of greatness. Everybody understand that? People won't appreciate it. They'll understand it, but they won't appreciate it. All right? Not everybody wants that responsibility. Point number 2. Today's topic is everyone is not trying to get better, or not everyone is trying to get better. I think that's a better, more grammatically correct way of saying that. Point number 2, with skill comes results. And with results, you know what comes with results? Anybody know? Future expectations of more results. See, the challenge with being great at something one time is that now everybody expects you to be great again. All right, everybody's like, okay, now we see how great you are. Now, all right, you might as well just do that every time. Any of you, when I played basketball, this is something that would happen. I might do some move, or make some kind of play that was a really great play, where people really saw, like, damn, this dude is actually really good. They saw maybe my full potential through some move that I might do in a game. This is something that would happen a lot when I was like growing up, in my teen years, maybe even into my college years. I might do some move and get a dunk, or make a strong move to the basket and score a point, or something that I just showed a flash of brilliance. This is how it would be. And this is in basketball, happens all the time with all types of players, not just me. And when you do it, somebody either on the court or on the sideline will say something like, man, you should just do that every time. LeBron James drives to the hole, makes this bull rush drive to the hole, and just dunks on everybody. People are like, man, all he got to do is just do that all game. He just do that every time. Shaquille O'Neal dunks on somebody. He just do that every time. And I'm not knocking people thinking that or saying it, because if you're good enough, you make it look really easy, right? This is something that I talked about in the masterclass about professional. What is expected when professional is next to your name? And let me tell you what episode that is. Masterclass number 931. What is expected of you when professional is next to your name is that it may not be easy, but you make it look easy. So when you make something look easy, people see it and they say, damn, you might as well just do that every time. Here's the point that I'm making. When people say that, they are unconsciously letting you know what I just told you here in point number 2, that when you show flashes of greatness, people will expect you to be great all the time. Not just a flash of greatness, but a normalized greatness. LeBron James is a great example. He has normalized being great. He's been so great for so long in basketball, at least as of this recording, that when he does things that are great, people aren't even surprised anymore. It's not even a big deal anymore, because he's expected to do great things. When the Chicago Bulls were winning all those championships in the 90s, they got to a point that they had normalized being great, that people weren't really surprised when the Bulls ended up winning a game. Even though it wasn't easy, they made it look easy, and people had this expectation of them just being great, and they didn't even celebrate them that much when they were winning, because they had made it so normal for them to keep doing it over and over and over again. So that last year was such a slog for the Chicago Bulls, not because they were bored with it, but because they had normalized it to the point there wasn't even that much energy around the fact that they were winning the championship again. But Phil Jackson, the coach, ever the genius that he is, he realized, all right, I had to come up with some type of theme for this team, because if I don't, then the first of all, the long slog of it, everything weighing on the team's shoulders from having done this over and over again and having the targets on our back is going to make it really hard for us. I got to come up with some theme that will inspire and motivate everybody. So he said, all right, this is going to be our last time. So let's make this one right, because it's going to be the last time we have the band together. And he ended up being right, doing things that way. So it is not easy. And it's definitely not always fun. That the better that you do, the more you're expected to keep being that good. All right. Very few people want to deal with that level of responsibility. As a matter of fact, in Tim Grover's book, he talked about this as well. When you do great things, people are going to expect you to be great over and over and over again. And I just told you, masterclass number 931, what is expected of you when professional is next to your name? All right. It's not just the times that you feel like it. It's every single time. And not everybody wants to deal with that. Again, when we're talking about it, everybody wants it. You walk up to somebody and say, hey, you were great on Tuesday. Can you be that great every day? Do you want to be that great every day? You're going to say, yeah, I want to be that great every day. Now, all right, let's see where they are 3 weeks from now. Do they still have that same energy? Usually the answer is no. Point number 3. Today's topic is not everyone is actually trying to get better. So do not expect it of other people. Number 3, if everybody wanted to get better, let me tell you how life would be different. If everyone wanted to get better, I'm going to tell you right now, as I'm recording this, I'm going to keep it 100% real with y'all. I got 2 plastic bags of candy here. One is Sour Patch Kids watermelon, and the other one is Swedish Fish. It's like this unique new flavor of Swedish Fish that they got. And we know it's the same shit. They just put colors on it and call it something different. It's the same shit. I got these 2 bags of candy. That candy would not exist. The candy industry would not exist if everybody just wanted to get better all the time, 100% of the time. If everybody wanted to get better all the time, the only food that anybody would eat would be organic food, right? Even if, now we can have arguments about eating meat versus not eating meat and vegan and paleo and all that stuff, but everybody would be eating organic from organic sources if everybody just wanted to get better. We can all agree that the organic stuff is better than the conventional stuff. I think everybody agrees with that, for the most part. Again, everybody out there will either have a trainer or a coach, like a trainer for your body, a coach for your business, your mind, your life, whatever, or either that, on that extreme of everybody having one, or those industries wouldn't exist at all because everybody would just be going to the gym and doing what they're supposed to do to the point that we don't even need trainers. Or everybody would be doing what they need to do in their business and their life to the point that we didn't need business coaches and life coaches because everybody's doing what the fuck they're supposed to do because the information's out there. All you gotta do is read it and apply it and implement. So either everybody would have one or nobody would have one, but it wouldn't be any in between because everybody would be doing what they need to do, right? Doesn't that make sense? Maybe there'd be no need for the cops because nobody would commit crime because everybody's trying to get better and do things to better themselves, which means you can't put out negative energy of hurting another person in order to better yourself. That doesn't work. That's backwards. We wouldn't have need for police because everybody would be following the law. We wouldn't even have a need for the law. It'd just be a bunch of people doing the right thing, helping each other out, and it'd be a utopian society if everybody was just trying to get better. The self-help industry would either be 100 times bigger or 100 times smaller. 100 times bigger because everybody would be going out and getting things to help themselves, or 100 times smaller because everybody would just have the information and they would automatically be helping themselves. They wouldn't need to buy another book or take another course or hire another coach in order to do it. There'd be no need. Or there'd be a million times need, one or the other. But it'd be on one extreme. You understand what I'm saying? Nobody would be needed to be reminded over and over of the same stuff. And all mediocrity in the world would die of starvation in very short order if everybody was just trying to get better. And let me be clear. Instead, we got a lot of this other stuff going on. Not only because some people out there, I wouldn't say us, who's listening to this, you probably do want to get better because you're only in a certain group. You're listening to the words that I'm saying right now. So you probably want to get better. But even us, even people like me and you, sometimes we forget. All right, sometimes we slip. Sometimes we slip a little bit and we go to the Walgreens and we buy some Swedish Fish and some Sour Patch Kids watermelon. All right, sometimes we all slip a little bit because we're human. So that's why sometimes even us, as much as we want to get better, as much as we work on our games, as much as we're serious about improvement and we have some tangible actions moving our feet that show we're serious about improvement, we still do some mediocre shit every now and then. All right, we all got to admit it because we're human and this is just the game. All right, that's the game. It's the way it's set up. Okay? So if everybody wanted to get better, a whole lot of things in life would be different. So I want you to understand this. I want you to internalize everything that I'm talking about here. First of all, for yourself, looking in the mirror, because we always bring the conversation to ourselves. And secondly, for when you're dealing with other people, that when other people seem to resist ideas and concepts and information and material that seem to be very clearly making a point that would easily help them, and they seem to be resisting it or rejecting it for whatever reason, and you can't quite figure it out, listen to this show again. Listen to this episode again so that you understand this ain't for everybody and it ain't supposed to be. Let's recap today's class, which is everyone is not, or not everyone is trying to get better. I realized this again when I saw this speaker who was really trash, and I thought about why would the event organizers hire this trashy speaker that had to know she was trash. I mean, she wasn't good and then became garbage. She was garbage the whole time. Why'd they book her? I realized everybody doesn't want somebody who is better. All right, some people are just trying to protect their jobs in the business world, and then protecting your job does not always mean getting somebody who's better than who everyone is comfortable with. Point number 1, getting better is a responsibility. Paul Arden talked about this in his book. He says, working with the best is not easy. You'll be challenged, you'll be pushed, and it will not always be fun. Tim Grover said a lot of people don't hire me as a trainer, not because they're unsure of my skills. I mean, I did work with the best player in fucking history of the game. They don't want to work with me because they know I'm going to push them harder than other people are going to push them. We ain't taking no Instagram pictures, and I'm going to charge you more money than they're going to charge you, and you got to come to Chicago. I'm not coming to where you are. It's not going to be fun. And some people don't want to deal with that level of responsibility because there is too much work that needs to be done on the back end to be great than it is the amount of work that needs to be done to be mediocre. Point number 2, with skill comes results, and with results come future expectations of more results. The better you do, the more you are expected to keep being that good, and that is not easy. It is not fun. Being a professional at masterclass number 931, I told you, means it is expected that you do it every time, not just when you feel like it. Point number 3, if everybody wanted to get better, we would only have organic food. Everybody would have a trainer or a coach. The self-help industry would not exist. All mediocrity would die of starvation. But all of these other things exist because sometimes even people who want to be great slip off the wagon and we go and buy candy. And there's a whole lot of motherfuckers out here who just don't want to get better. No matter what you say, no matter what you do, you will not convince them. Stop trying. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Let them be who they want to be. Work on your fucking game. Dre all day.